Howdy, everybody. Another edition of Near Workshops. And we're really excited to have Near Horizons team here. Near Horizon, in my opinion, is filling a gap in the ecosystem we both need on a program level and a platform level. Not only is Near Horizons supporting projects with partners, accelerators, and services that projects can scale to become businesses, but they also have a platform completely built and really the biggest app on Boss, where it is both an ecosystem aggregator and a place where we not only control our project data, but we can actually facilitate with a lot of these service providers and contributors. So we have a pretty packed agenda today with an introduction and overview of Near Horizons, the way they collaborate with accelerators and service providers, the credit system and the current programs that a lot of you guys have been wondering how to actually work through, and then a live feedback and Q&A session towards the end. So yeah, really excited to have Peter and Laura, who's the GM, and Peter, who is the lead software engineer behind Near Horizons, to kick it off.
Yeah, sounds great. So I'm happy to do just a quick overview of what Horizon is and then turn things over to Petter, who can do an actual demo. So as was sort of already mentioned, Horizon is a startup support platform that connects Web3 founders with contributors and backers for growth and success. And the major problems that we saw when we looked out into the ecosystem that founders were facing fell into a couple of buckets. The first is, there are significant market challenges that we are all experiencing today. So, how do you get your idea validated? Where do you just start, right? If you're coming in sort of fresh and you've done a little bit of building and you think you have a great idea, but how do you sort of get your legs under you, and where do you start? How do you get access to users, right? Like that's a huge question and a huge pain point we've seen. And then always this very elusive, very challenging thing of how do you actually build a community, right, around your product and your project. And then there also were a ton of capital constraints that we also noted. So just access to capital, having affordable services, so like legal and auditing and finance services. And then, of course, being able to recruit and retain top talent for your projects as well. And then in sort of the middle here, is also a set of challenges that I think exist around just having like the kind of support education to and sort of mentorship needed. So how do you navigate the regulatory landscape? Obviously, in the US, that's becoming even more of a big question. And how do you get peer support? So founders obviously learn a ton from other founders. So how can you make connections with other founders? And then a lot of builders we've seen in Web3, they have amazing ideas and they're incredible, devs, but they've never been an entrepreneur before. They've never started a company, started a business. And so having some, basic education as well about how do you create a budget and a cap table and those kinds of things. So that, these are some of the needs that we saw when we looked out and we were having conversations. And so that's really why we created Horizon, right? To be this marketplace of support for founders. And so the big value props that we're homing in on for founders are that this is a place where you can, validate your idea and find help that you need. You can also connect with other builders. We are going to be kicking off a mentorship program in the coming months. We are already hosting, product demo nights and doing community AMAs. So really trying to engage the community. And then, of course, also having access to people and organizations who can help you raise capital. So we have been partnering with different accelerator programs, the whole intention of which is to get teams able and ready to raise capital. So we're going to dive in, I think, a little bit later to all of the partnerships that we have and sort of more details about the marketplace and what's coming up. But for now, I'm going to turn things over to Petter, who can give you an actual demo of the product.
All right, let me just quickly share my screen and we should be good to go. Let me know if you can see my screen, just so I'm.
Yep, you can see it.
All right, awesome. So let me walk you through. This is the homepage, or the dashboard as we call it, of Horizen. And you can see here some of the basic stats, like the number of projects, requests, contributors or service providers, and backers that are registered on the platform. We can go in and see that there are some actual ecosystem projects, some big names here that have recently registered and created a profile on Horizen. One of those is Mintbase, Calamero, and we have others. We also have some requests going on. So people are actually requesting stuff and trying to get some services going. And we see that Verican has two requests that have been closed. So that means that they found a service provider that's willing to work with them and help them with their needs. And they are presumably good to go and are collaborating with those folks. Contributors, here we can see there are some individuals and some organizations that are listed, which we can interact with. Those people or organizations offer support to all of the projects that are in the system. Now let me show you, give you a quick look into what a project profile looks like. So this is a newer profile, so I'm not expecting to see all of the fields populated, which is fine. And right now we can see that Calamero has some information right here. They have their website, their social links, and some additional information. So this is more of the lookup part where people can just see all of the information about a particular project and just find out what they're actually doing in the Near ecosystem. If we go back to the homepage, we can see what's going on in a request, for example. So this is a description and some more details as to what this particular request is about. So what Ample is looking for. They're looking to amplify and improve marketing effort. It seems like we can go back and look at a contributor, for example. We can also see a list of all of the contributors that we have. So these are the 27 that are active on here, and one of which is Infrastructure Co. We can go in and see some of their details. So similar to the project profiles, although some other details that you want to look at, since these are more of service providers, so they are looking to help and support other projects in succeeding and building their platform. If we go back and go, for example, to the project section, we can see there's a huge list of projects, and we can also filter through some of them. So we can, for example, only select DeFi projects. If we apply filters, we'll see that there's 19 projects that have DeFi or DeFi tags or verticals. So we can again list through them. So this is just for filtering purposes and for finding stuff more easily. We can go to the homepage, and right now Near Horizen itself is a project. So we could go through and create a new contribution request. I'm not gonna go ahead and do that since this is all live data. So I don't want to create just a test request, but this is what it would look like. So this is the form. This is the page that creates the requests that I've shown you for Verican and Ample that have already created some. If we go back, we also have additional CTAs here. We can create a project. So it's as simple as this. You just fill out this form, you hit create project, and voila, you have a project registered on Horizen. We also have forms available for signing up as a contributor and for signing up as a backer. All of this is available on the platform, so anyone can go in and sign up and register. We can also have a look at this manage page. This is essentially the place where you control all of the projects or contributors that you have admin access to. I'll go to the New Horizen one to just for showcasing the functionality and just seeing how different it is compared to other projects that I don't have access to. As you can see here, we have the ability to edit a bunch of these fields, and all of this is stored on chain. So all of this data is accessible through the boss on any gateway that you're using. We can go and look at the people that are associated with Horizen. Here you can see Laura is listed as a user or as a founder of Horizen. Looks like she needs to update her social profile data, but all is fine. I recognize the account ID. Other than that, we can also add people to the team. I can go ahead and add myself. This should be it. I can save changes, and this is going to perform a transaction. So this will get stored on the Horizen account, and I'll be part of the New Horizen team if I reload the page, that is. And here I am. Now I'm a team member of Horizen, which I was for a while, but now it's official that it's on Horizen. There's also this document section where projects are free to upload some of their documents that they want to be visible to other people, like a pitch deck, a white paper, roadmap, team, demo, etc. So you can just upload these documents and they would be visible to other people. And you also have a learn section. So this is where we have aggregated some of the async resources that you can go through and just learn on your own, go and watch some videos. You can just go through these different topics and hopefully make yourself understand whatever you're missing. If not, however, we are working on a few features that will help you communicate and just ask questions freely on the platform. There's also an FAQ section for just if you're having trouble going through the app, if you're not understanding what's going on, you can just go to the FAQ section and we'll mostly have you covered there. If not, however, in this lower right-hand corner, you have a give feedback button where you can reach out to us and just like send us an email, ask any type of question you want, and we'll try our best to answer and give you a solution. There's also a help section, which is just a basic overview of what the platform is. And of course, everyone's favorite terms and conditions. Just kidding. I know not a lot of people enjoy reading those. And that's about it. I'll pass it back to you guys. Let me just stop sharing.
Yeah, sounds good. And I think one of the other things, Petter, do you also want to share maybe a couple of the things that are on the roadmap that are coming out in the next few weeks?
Sure. So the upcoming features that we're working on or that are in the pipeline are a Q&A section. So it's basically a discussions board where people can ask questions and interact with each other, similar to how Reddit is. Like you have a question, you have an answer, you have a discussion going on, a thread. So that will be very engaging, and you can just talk to other people and share experiences, connect with other founders. Another feature that we're also working on is just improving the navigation, which will definitely help with navigating within Horizon alongside mobile optimizations, because we got to admit currently we're not as mobile friendly as would like to be.
Yeah, awesome. And we're looking forward to your feedback as well on this call so that we can continue to, improve. We have actually a group of beta testers and kind of power users that we are engaging with on a weekly basis, and we are running through new designs and prototypes with them and getting feedback. So trying not to put anything out without having that level of user feedback before. And sessions like this and times when folks are just engaging with the platform have been hugely helpful in just us understanding what people see as the biggest value props and what we should index on and what we should and ideas for future development. So very excited to hear if you all have any ideas as well. But now I am going to, I think, move back to sharing a little bit about how we partner with organizations and what that all looks like. So we are really partnering with three kinds of sort of organizations. So the first are accelerator programs. And those we're partnering with in order to facilitate near specific programming and then we also are working with a host of accelerators to provide chain agnostic or support to chain agnostic programs, with the goal of being to actually recruit people to be building on near. We also are working with a handful of ecosystem partners. So those are Web3 communities, DAOs, and incubators. And what we do is we actually go and provide workshops and resources to current and aspiring founders. So we have some time scheduled with Global Coin Research, which is an investment DAO, with Graph Paper Capital in the coming months, as well as Chain Forest, Crypto Packaged Goods. So we're really trying to sort of, get connected and work with all of these amazing grassroots efforts that exist in the space. And then we're also working with education partners, where we are designing hackathons and fellowships and educational content for students and early career engineers and current founders. And so an example of an education partner that we just contracted with or partnered with is in Code Club. And so some of you may have heard of that or gone through some of their program, but they have really high quality education content and programming, as well as boot camps and an accelerator actually of their own. And then we're also working with Major League Hacking, which is is essentially a public benefit community that has over 150,000 early career developers. And so they're running a hackathon and a project incubation program that should hopefully really, bring new builders into near. And then in terms of our accelerator program partner, our first big one has been Outlier Ventures, which is a leading global Web3 accelerator that basically recruits and supports and scales startups. And they have a huge network of industry experts and resources that really provide, tailored mentorship and they do provide funding and strategic guidance as well. So about 10 teams are going to graduate from Outlier. And if you're interested in applying to that, the application closes on July 14th. So there is still time. And please get your application in as soon as possible, because it's an ongoing sort of review process. So those are sort of a high level of our partners. And then we also are working with a series of vendors. And so the goal here is that we are actually vetting service providers. So from smart contract auditors to marketing providers to folks that provide support with product strategy, and talent providers. So we're actually vetting them and then making them available within the platform. So a few months ago, we put out like an open call for all of these types of providers, and we've been reviewing applications and working with them to get them onboarded so that founders can find them and they can actually know that they are high quality, right? Like these are vetted folks. So, and the reason why service providers, partner with us is, they obviously want access to our ecosystem so they can engage directly with you all. And it allows them to, sort of grow their client base. And then the goal is actually that they can make meaningful partnerships with you all so that when you're just starting out, you can really trust them and then build a long-term partnership as you scale. And so so that's kind of an overview of our both service providers and program partners. So I also wanted to just give you a little bit, sorry, I'm just going to shift out and give you also a sense for what is coming in terms of our program partnerships. So please let me know if you all can see this slide.
Yep.
Great. Okay, cool. So basically, where are we in our partnership roadmap? So we have already launched our Major League Hacking and Encode Club hackathons and fellowships. We're about to launch our Outlier Venture Basecamp program. We are going to be kicking off a Ready to Raise bootcamp, which is really designed for early stage projects that are actively raising in the Horizon community. And then we're also going to be launching a mentorship cohort where we pair Horizon founders with our expert network. So these are a crew of people that work at really well-known VCs like Dragonfly and Decasonic and others, Hashed, et cetera. So folks that are really excited to and have been in the space for many years, who have kind of seen it all and can provide a lot of really good coaching and mentorship. And then we're also working on making sure that Horizon is a really good launch pad for builders who might not be ready to be founders yet, but who want to get their feet wet in developing with near projects. So we're signing up a host of people as contributors, like they're actually just individual, builders who are excited about the tech. That as a founder, you could actually, get to work on your project part-time. So give you a little bit of, development support while they're learning and getting even more excited about working with Near. So that is what's coming. And I see there's some chat, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Oh, great. Thank you for sharing all the information about our partnerships. But I think that's kind of, I think, covers the big picture idea here. And then, how you can get involved, obviously, is if you're a founder creating a profile, or if you want to be a contributor to other projects, you can also, create a contributor profile. So, if you want to work kind of across different projects, you can do that and become discoverable by other people. So you can, expand your portfolio, work on cool stuff that you're interested in, and obviously, make sure that, or sort of help other founders in being successful as well. So I'm going to pause and see if we have questions or feedback or thoughts, anything that we want to dive in on.
And I have a general question about like accelerator partners and whether like kind of how you guys pick accelerator partners, or if there are any verticals, whether it's Web 2, whether it's the green tech or anything that you're looking for future accelerated partners or education partners, or just kind of, what's something interesting out there in terms of like call to action for potential partners?
Yeah, so we have a whole sort of review process that we go through, sort of internally when we're looking to partner with our program partners. I would say we're trying to have fewer partners with higher quality than have, tens and 20 partners, and so I think we're feeling excited about the ones that we have today, and I'm not sure we're going to do that much more partnering with with new providers, because we want to manage the ones that we've already kicked off really well and make sure that we're seeing the outcomes that we're looking for, and that they're providing really, really good, services and experiences to our founders. So we're going to take a very conservative approach moving forward to partnering with any additional ones. We have been exploring the idea of a vertical specific incubator. And some of the areas that we have been looking into are AI, as well as, continuing to think about like Web 2.5. And then we've also been in some discussions around a gaming incubator as well, but no decisions have been made yet. But we're kind of always thinking about where from the market, like where are we seeing a lot of interest, where are we seeing a lot of innovation, and is there a way of creating programming that is a little bit more targeted to those pockets of innovation. Cool. There was one question in the Q&A. And so it looks like maybe if we have a couple minutes at the end of this session, Petter, if we can actually stick on, or maybe we can just share a separate link and help getting Oscar up and running, because it sounds like he's had a little trouble with his profile. But other than that, are there any other questions? Please feel free to type them into the chat or into the Q&A.
Maybe
Great,
if
we
you
must have
could,
covered everything.
maybe you can go into a little bit more about the credit program in detail. I know that was on the agenda.
Yeah, so we're still working through so I don't have a ton to share on the credit system in terms of the overall application process or anything today. We're still working through that transparently. So not something that I'm going to go into tremendous detail about, but the idea of the credit system is that it's essentially a way to get your costs subsidized for service providers. So as a marketplace, you can find the vetted service providers that are that have joined, and then leverage the credits to sort of offset some of the costs. But again, more specific information to come in the coming weeks, and we're thinking through a bunch of just sort of legal and regulatory pieces there, and just making sure that we're keeping everybody safe.
Awesome. I got some questions for Peter on the kind of the build side, and I'm really happy that you shared some development roadmaps. I'm really excited because I actually saw some updates, especially with the filters and the feedback since last time I created a profile. But yeah, I mean, you got one of the biggest boss apps being built. I wanted to know, do you have any plans for people building on top of the platform and querying project information, or where do you see the community kind of coming on the boss builder side of things? Or
Yeah, so we are definitely open to having the data that we are capturing just used in interesting ways by all of the builders on Boss. As a matter of fact, we have built a indexer and a database that essentially aggregates the combination of the social data and all of the Horizon data into a single place. So it's easier and quicker to query. And I'd be happy to share the access to that API so that people can utilize our data to maybe have some interesting graphs and connections between the projects and service providers, or between the projects and between the people who are working on those projects, so team members and founders, maybe get some interesting data out of that. In terms of additional building just on top of Boss, we are actually working on scoping out some work, especially on the mobile, the responsiveness side of things, that we'd love for someone from the community to come and build with us and just improve the mobile responsiveness of the website. That's something that we're looking forward to, and we're also looking for any additional piece of work that we think is what is well suited to be built by someone other than our team. That's something that we're going to be very open about and just involve the community as much as possible. And there are lots of additional things. Like we have also contributed to the tooling on like the Boss Loader and the Boss CLI, specifically the Boss CLI, as we were, as you said, one of the biggest apps on Boss. We were hitting some issues that other people were just not facing. And thanks to that, we have been improving the tooling around Boss and just providing some feedback and workshopping with those folk. So anyone is, of course, welcome. I can even post the link to our GitHub repo. So anyone is more than welcome to go over there. I'm currently in the process of writing some documentation for how people can contribute there and how they can maybe submit an issue or just improve a widget or just copy paste and see what our process is like and just replicate it to build their own stuff, because this is first and foremost open source. And here's the link in the chat to our GitHub repo. So feel free to look around there and see if you can find anything interesting.
Alpha drops. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciative of that. And then like, can you kind of go a little bit more into details on like what's on the Near Horizon contract and like when you leverage the social.near contract for like the social graph?
Of course. So the Horizon contract mostly contains the logic behind creating requests and tying those requests to actual projects, and with the service providers, then capturing the proposals that are submitted from the actual service providers to the projects, as well as creating or forming them into full-on contributions with histories and just a connection between them. This is something that wasn't easily doable via social, and it wasn't really a social thing. It was more of a different kind of connection between entities. So that's what we did. There's also the component of credit applications. So whether someone is approved for credits or not lives on the smart contract as well. So you can also see if someone has gone through the process of being picked and signing a agreement with us in terms of service providers. So the ones that we chose and just went through the process, that's also noted on the smart contract. So you can see that data. Just, of course, verifying and checking that all of the requests happen as they should, so that the proper people can be allowed to edit. So some permission stuff, so access control. And on the graph side or on the social side, we're just utilizing as much data as possible. So your social name is being utilized for your profiles, your logo, description, a lot of the general fields that should be viewable and indexable by everyone without having to dig into our smart contract and see how it functions. We've kept as much of that as possible on the social side. So like descriptions, some like user-based information, verticals, all of that is essentially just enhancing the social graph of that project, and then connecting and sending notifications whenever something is happening by utilizing the social features. For example, when someone is sending a proposal to a existing request, the administrators or the admins of that project who created the request just get a notification via the index capabilities of the social graph.
Awesome. Well, yep. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I don't think we have any more new questions. But yeah, we'll make the recording available right after this with all the resources in the description. So yeah, thank you so much for coming out, and make sure to sign up for Near Horizons at near.org/horizon.
That sounds great. Thank you so much. I think maybe if we can, I think we do have a minute, just given the time. And so I'm wondering, yeah, if you email Horizon, great. That sounds good. And we'll help you get set up. Thank you.